Okay, just a heads up. This was supposed to be an episode 4 review. Turns out I recorded the whole of episode 3 on time. I was so ready to be professional expert at this, okay? And then I realized that the whole entire thing was dog poo. So I thought, why don't I just do a really quick recap of episode 3 just to catch us all up? But the main focus of this review, obviously, is on number 4 because we have stuff to talk about. So let's get started.
Recipe. Messy, so don't mess with me. Used to give them kisses, now the missus is an entity.
So, episode 3 basically is an introduction for us to the road, and we find out that along the road they have to encounter trials, which they go through as a coven. So, their first trial is poisoned wine, and they basically have to find the antidote to save Mrs. Hart, aka Sharon, who has managed to drink 2 cups of it. And this episode drops some pretty big lore bombs. So, lore bomb at number 1. It's revealed to the teen by Jennifer Cale that Agatha had a baby boy, which apparently, according to what everyone says, she gave away her baby boy so she could have the Darkhold. But we see later in the trial, due to the hallucinations that each of the coven have, Agatha's hallucination is one where the Darkhold is in like a bassinet and she's crying. And I feel that if you gave away your child willingly for the Darkhold, you would not be tearing up like this girl was. And I also think this was just put in here so it would throw us off the scent of the teen. Because like I think quite a few people, basically all of us now, think that the boy is the child of Wanda Maximoff, as I discussed in the previous episode. And I'm not gonna lie, it did have me thinking, what if the teen actually turns out to be Agatha's boy? But I'll explain later why I don't agree with this anymore. So the other hallucinations for the coven include Jennifer Cale, who hallucinated a man, which we don't know who he is, but he was dressed in like maybe some kind of doctor or like priest clothes. Lilia Calderu hallucinated this. It was like this girl in some period piece clothing. She looked pretty ghoulish. And our last hallucinator was Alice, who saw her mother. Now, after all of this is done, after they've all hallucinated and come together and made their little antidote, all escape through a little hatch in the oven, and they're safe, right? Their coven's all together. No, turns out Sharon, rest in peace, bless her little soul, is dead. Now, this is how you would have found me after that episode. I had to take a hibernation to think about it. She was so excited for just a little party, and she's not even made it through the first trial. The poor, poor woman. Anyways, time for the meat of this episode. Episode 4.
I like a rough and harder than a diamond. He can hit the blood while he's breaking in my hymen. I can make him do what I say like Simon. So soft, but he's built like a lineman.
So after that cliffhanger, unfortunately, I was really hoping they'd be like, oops, we're joking. April Fools. Sharon's not dead. Sharon can't be dead. Sharon's dead. So, Teen gets to work burying her. And now the coven is left without a green witch. Well, I guess Sharon was like, a proxy green witch, if you will. But this time they really do need one. So Agatha comes up with a plan. They're going to summon a green witch. Now the coven all lines up. They will do a little Latin chant, and they each put in a desirable trait. So we've got, to be honest, the only one I remember is Jennifer Cale going.
May she be pleasant looking?
Anyway, so they wait for their summoning results, and lo and behold, something scratches its way out of Sharon's grave. Now, if you've already managed to rub your 2 brain cells together, I think it's pretty obvious who our green witch is gonna be. That's right, Rio Vidal. Butler, fetch me my edit. Guess. Woohoo! She is bad. Anyways, at this point, Disney Plus was testing me. I had not 1, not 2, but thrice adverts, and we had not even gotten 10 minutes into this damn episode. I missed the days when it used to pay, what was it? Lockdown? It was like a £5. No adverts. Life was bliss. Anyways, Next house, so we are transported back to the 1970s, I believe, to a pretty kooky house. Last house in the previous trial was like some modern one. Oh, and I forgot to explain. Whenever they go into a new house, they get new costumes. Gnawing at the bars of my enclosure, gnawing at my cage. You don't understand. They're so fine. Everyone has gone exploring. And by exploring, I mean Rio and Agatha are exploring. Now, ladies, let's not get our hopes up, okay? They're in the little recording booth. But what's happening in the booth but a thigh touch from Rio? At this point, someone has to restrain me. You've got to hold me back. You've got to hold me back. Now, Agatha sneakily presses because they're in a recording studio, you know the microphone that like, not the DJs, but I guess the producers press to speak to their performer. She presses that, which broadcasts Rio's, little speech where she says,
You get your power, and I get my buddies.
very suspicious. Obviously, this comment causes uproar, but before they can do anything, they are blasted by some music. Because the teen has activated the next riddle, which, well, it's not a riddle, I guess the next trial, which is basically a record of Lorna Woo's ballad. Lorna Woo, Alice's mother. Lorna Woo recorded the most popular version of the ballad, and it causes like some ear-splitting noise. So luckily Agatha deals with it by smashing it onto the floor like any sane person would do. And the metronome starts, and the second trial has begun. Now, Agatha figures that to complete this trial, all they have to do is play Lorna Woo's version of the ballad, which is the boppiest bop. Forget what I said about the last ballad. This version of the ballad is the best one. Trust me, my earbuds, I'm not even embarrassed. My earbuds, it's probably been played like 3 times already just after that viewing. It will be played 3 times more. Make that 30. So they set to work recording that masterpiece. But before they do, strangely, Patti LuPone's character, Lilia Calderoo, starts to sizzle up, starts to burn up on her shoulder. And luckily, Alice knows the repellent to this, so she takes Rio's knife and she puts a little circle around Lilia Calderoo, freeing her of the spell. And she again does this to Jennifer Kale because it happens to her as well. Which is strange, and we'll get to that because why is everyone's shoulders burning up? This happens to Agatha later when they're recording the version of the song. But it turns out this is part of a generational curse because Alice Wu has it on her shoulder as well. It's like a burnt in line. Now, this means that 2 of the people are sharing her curse now. They got to get rid of this. So, they make the most banging studio session ever. I forgot to mention that the teen got chucked through a window. So that happened. Anyways, halfway through, Alice realizes she can see the curse, which is in the form of some flying, disgusting demon. Again with the disgusting demons. But she sings so strong, so powerful. She channels that Mariah Carey whistle note, and the creature burns up. Everything is beautiful. Except, of course, it's not. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The teen is getting on my nerves. I don't know what it is. He's I kind of take back what I said in the previous episode. He's starting to annoy me a bit. He's starting to annoy me a bit. Also, Joe Locke, bless his little soul, he's really chasing that American accent. Anyways, so the teen turns out when he got chucked through that window at the random moment, which I thought was the whatever sigil was placed on him to protect him. I thought that him being chucked through the window was to protect him from the curse that was going around. I guess not. If when he looks down, he sees a big chunk of glass and bleeds out, which is what happens, which is not ideal, unfortunately. So they emerge from the house, obviously, the trial is over, and they get the teen on a rock. They've got to save this guy. Now, Jennifer Kale, she's got some character development after, remembering who she is in the first trial, after remembering how to make antidotes, how to make potions. She's all set. She's got this. So she uses moonlight, and she also uses water, and doing a little chant, cut gone. Everything is fine and dandy. Now we enter our final act where all their secrets are spilled. So all the witches gather around the fire and they're all like sharing little stories. And Agatha is currently sitting with the teen, and it's clear that she feels guilty. She feels responsible for this teen because I guess she's seeing him as a replacement for her son. And this is why I don't think that he is her son because um it just seems too easy. Her son is definitely, he seems gone. If you've been like given away to the Darkhold, you're not coming back. But he awakes. She's relieved, obviously. But yeah, he wakes up. They're talking, and then he has to go and ask Agatha, how did you lose your son? Why would you ask someone that? Because clearly she's like, she's not happy. She's grieving, bless her soul. I mean, it's been 1,000 years or whatever, like 100 million gazillion. But it's still a touchy subject. So obviously, she goes and storms off. She's like, "Get well soon, boy," and she goes and joins them at the fire. This is where we get our Rio and Agatha content, guys. So they're sharing stories about scars. Um, they, I think Lilia shares one, the little vampire bite. And they're like, Agatha, what was yours? Agatha shows a little one on her elbow. It's a little knitting needle scar. Very fun, very cool. I think it's from, they're called the Daughters of Liberty or something. I'm guessing that's another cover. Maybe we'll meet them later, who knows. And then Rio is like, I have
I've
a
got a
scar.
scar.
And Agatha is quick to say,
No, you don't.
that woman has defo explored every part of her body. But she is like, no, I do have a scar. And this is a yap point number one. Yap point number one. Well, actually, we're so far into the video, I don't even. Can we call it yap point number one? I haven't said yap point number one yet, so I've written this down. She says, and I quote. Actually, I don't quote. I wrote this in all of my excitement. But she said she loved someone and had to do something she did not want to do. This is sounding suspiciously like she had something to do with the disappearance of her son when he was given away to the Darkhold or something, because she said,
And I had to do something that I did not want to do, even though it was my job.
so maybe she's like her job is death. I'm pretty sure there's a Marvel character called Lady Death. But this would make sense because earlier in the episode, when I said that the team was dying out bleeding, Agatha looks to Rio and she goes,
Don't.
meaning maybe she could have reaped his soul, but she didn't at that point, so she could give the coven a chance to revive him.
She is my scar.
Now Agatha, like I said, finding this very touchy, she goes away and Rio follows her. This bit, she goes in and they hug and I'm like,
Hello?
do you mean you're gonna hug? And they pull out again and she goes in for a kiss. Marvel, you sly dogs. Rio's like, no. She goes,
That boy isn't yours.
she had to go and say that because Agatha doesn't want to kiss her now. That, I'm pretty sure, is where it ends off. Very, very lovely episode. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not have hope that Marvel would give Agatha, like a girlfriend or like girlfriend history. My laptop is gonna explode. Can you hear that? Yeah. But I think that's the way it's going. That's pretty surprising because they haven't done much of this. I mean, I guess Eternals, but Eternals does not count. Eternals was a horrendous movie. Like, I know there's some people who enjoy it. You enjoy it. I personally did not. But yeah, there's the guy who has a husband in it. But were we really all paying attention to that storyline? No. Be truthful to yourself. Anyways, what are my predictions for the next episode? If this is right and Rio turns out to be Lady Death, I fear she may have to claim Agatha's soul at the end. I think they're gonna hit us with a every lesbian movie ever, bad ending. But always a Fear Street in a world of Portrait of a Lady on Fires. So have hope. Here's the thing, I really do hope that they do more versions of the Ballad of the Witches Road. Like, so they do like one for each episode or each trial at least. I think that'd be pretty fun. I don't think they will though. But maybe our next, I'm guessing it just goes off of every Coven member. The first one, I guess, went off of Jennifer Kale because, like, the house had her products in it. The next one was clearly Alice because it was built off of, her mother's whole song and studio and music career. Teen, I don't know. I don't think he like counts in the Coven because he's underage and stuff. But we've defo got Lilia Calderou's one to do, and obviously we've got Agatha's, and maybe Rio has a little thing here. And remember, I don't watch trailers, so this is going off my brain. I love just like watching it fresh. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you. I hope you all have a pretty lovely night. I'll hopefully get this out before the next episode comes out. And I hope you all enjoy your next Agatha All Along Wednesday.